بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, inshallah, we will also be looking at another very important aspect of Tajweed that we cannot do without it if we want to recite Al-Quran proficiently. And this is the rule of Nun Sakina and Tanween. Yeah, we have to understand what Nun Sakina is and what Tanween is. Then we will then be moving forward to the rules applicable to Nun Sakina and Tanween. That is, whenever we see Nun having Sukun, whether apparent or hidden, that is when the Nun is not apparently having the Sukun, and this Nun or Tanween is now followed by either or any of the other Arabic alphabets. There are some rules pertaining to that, and that is what we shall be discussing in today's class, bi'idhnillah. Nun Sakina, it is defined as the Nun which is free from any other vowels. هي الخالية من الحركة or من الحركات الثلاثة. It is the one that is free from the three vowels that we know, that is Fatha, Kasra, and Dhamma. It is not having either of these three vowels. وَتَثْبُتُ لَفْظًا وَخَطًّا. It is also established, that is, it remains unchanged. Lafdhan, when pronouncing it, وَخَطًّا, and when you are writing it. Both in written and pronunciation form, the Nun remains unchanged. Wawaslan, and when you are continuing your recitation, wawakfan, and when you are stopping or pausing. Wataqa'u fil asma' wal af'al. You can also find Nun Sakina in Arabic nouns, wal af'al, and verbs, and huruf, and the Arabic particles. And these Nun, you can find them Nun Sakina. I'm talking of Nun Sakina, Nun having Sukun. You can find it at the middle of Arabic word or at the end of Arabic word. Apparently, any letter having Sukun cannot begin Arabic word. Therefore, Nun having Sukun cannot begin Arabic word, but then we can find it in the middle or at the end of Arabic words. An example of this is found in Mun'aim. We can see the Nun with Sukun apparently and obvious to everyone to see. The Nun is having Sukun in the word Mun'aim, and Mun'aim is an Arabic noun, al-ismu. And yanha, this is cited in a verse, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي yanha. The Nun is also there, and this yanha is a verb, Arabic verb. And min or man, min means from, and man means who. This is Arabic name, noun, or particle. If it is min, it is Arabic particle, and if it is man, it is Arabic noun. At-tanween, on the other hand, هو عبارة عن نون ساكنة زائدة تلحق آخر الاسم لفظا ووصلا لا خطا ووقفا. It is also an Arabic terminology used to represent Nun Sakina. It is also a silent Nun. It is a silent Nun, that is a Nun free from other Arabic vowels. A noon having an apparent sukun, a silent noon. Okay, zaira, it is an extra or an additional noon attached to the end of Arabic nouns. Akhir ismi lafdhun, it is also present in, it is only present in what, in pronunciation and when continuing recitation or reading, but not present in written and when stopping on Arabic word. It's not established or found in Arabic text. You cannot see that noon um, written boldly at the end of Arabic now. So this implies that we can only find nun sakin at tanween at the end of Arabic nouns, and not whether at the end, middle, or beginning of Arabic verbs or Arabic particles. For instance, we can find it in Muhammadun. Muhammadun, we can see it here, and Mubinan. Mubinan. This is only established because I am joining, it is, you know, it is as if I'm joining the other, or the next word after the examples cited, like Muhammadun Aminun. Muhammadun Aminun. So I read the two words together, and that is why you can find the tanween, that is the noon, an additional noon in the word Muhammad, an additional word, additional noon in the word Muhammad. I said Muhammadun Aminun, Mubinan something. Okay, Imanin alhaqna bihim. Imanin alhaqna bihim. So if I'm trying to stop, then the noon sakina zaida, the additional or an extra noon in the word, will not be pronounced out. So we then have 4 rules for when we have nun sakina or tanween followed by any of the other Arabic alphabets. I also need to make this clarification, because while talking of tanween here, known, I mentioned that it is an additional or an extra noun that is attached to Arabic now. So this noun, you know, it is sounding like an N, an N of English language, because when you also pronouncing it, you know, you are pronouncing something that sounds like N sound. Muhammadun, dun, it is sounding like an N sound, and that is why you should be able to relate it to the word. You should be able to relate it to the word. Tanween is also described as the doubled vowels. The doubled vowels, that is, we already mentioned the vowels that we have, fatha, kasra, dhamma. So when we are now doubling it, that is, we are having 2 fatha, 2 kasra, and 2 dhamma, as it is apparent in the examples cited here, then we are having tanween. Then we'll be able to be pronouncing the letter noon at the end of every letter, or at the end of every word. We are finding these doubled vowels. Doubled vowels. Okay, so I mentioned that we have 4 rules. The 4 applicable rules to nun sakina and tanween are al-izhar, al-idgham, al-ikhfa, and al-iqlab, and we shall be discussing these rules briefly. The first one, al-izhar. Al-izhar, literally or linguistically, it means al-bayan. تعريفه في اللغة, it means al-bayan. Al-izhar, linguistically, it means al-bayan, which means clarity, or when something is clear and obvious. and technically it is إخراج كل حرف من مخرجه من غير غنة في الحرف المظهر. It means the pronunciation or taking out of every letter, pronouncing every letter from its point of articulation من غير غنة, without applying غنة, that is nasal sound, without applying nasal sound on the clear letter. And the clear letter is the حروف الإظهار. Sorry, the clear letter is the nun sakina or tenwin. It is, those are the letters we want to hear its pronunciation coming out from the point of articulation. That is, we want to hear the nun being pronounced clearly out, and the tenwin, we want to hear the additional nun of the tenwin. We want to hear it being pronounced clearly and obviously. So we have 6 letters for idhar, and these are al-hamza, al-ha, al-ain, al-ha, al-ghain, and al-kha, and they are used to combine. They are combined together to form the expression akhi haka ilman hazahu ghayru khasirin. The first letter of each words here are standing for each letters of idhar. That is al-hamza in akhi, al-ha in haka, al-ain in ilman, al-ha in hazahu, al-ghain in ghayru, and al-kha in khasina. So these are the letters of idhar. It means that each time or whenever we find nun sakina or tenwin followed by any of these 6 letters, then the letters should be exposed clearly. They should be pronounced clearly out. The nun sakina must be pronounced, and the hamza, and these letters, these 6 letters, if any of them is coming after nun sakina or tenwin, they should be pronounced clearly. They should be pronounced clearly. And an example of that is wahum anha, wahum an. Oh, sorry. Min ayyi shay'in, min ayyi. Like when we check Surah Abasa verse 18, min ayyi, min ayyi. You can see that the min, there is nun sakina and the hamza is followed after nun sakina. I'm pronouncing the hamza clearly. Then I produce min ayyi, min ayyi, min ayyi. Then another example is in Surah Al-Alaq verse 2. خلق الإنسان من علق, من علق, min علق. Okay, the ain is being pronounced clearly. Then I'm exposing it out clearly. There is no nasal sound coming out from the nose, no gunna, and no hiding of any letter.